The last seconds of the year, Jimin smiled and leaned on Jungkook's shoulder, sparkling heart sparkles fans, melt watching the romantic scene like a movie fireworks. The deafening roar of fireworks shattered the night, sparks ricocheting off the glass walls of the rooftop garden. "Cookie, we might not make it to midnight," Jimin whispered, his voice trembling, not with fear of the pyrotechnics, but because of the unspoken storm between them. Jungkook's grip tightened around his hand, knuckles white against the faint pulse of adrenaline racing through them both. The city sprawled beneath them, lights flickering like distant stars, but up here, time seemed suspended, fragile as glass. He could feel Jimin's heartbeat against his chest, rapid and uneven. Jungkook swallowed hard, tasting the metallic tang of tension that mixed with the scent of cold winter air and smoke. "Don't even joke about that," he muttered, though his own voice shook. Memories of hidden letters, stolen glances, and a year filled with near confessions crowded his mind, each one heavier than the last. He had rehearsed this moment in every possible scenario, smiling, laughing, whispering something sweet, but reality was always messier. Jimin leaned closer, letting his head rest lightly against Jungkook's shoulder. It was a simple gesture, yet it carried the weight of months of restraint, of words left unsaid. His fingers traced circles on the back of Jungkook's hand, small, nervous movements that made the older boy's heart stutter. The countdown blared somewhere far below, muffled by distance, and Jungkook knew they had only seconds left before everything changed, or didn't. He wanted to speak, to tell Jimin that he had chosen him, over doubts, over fear, over everything. But words felt inadequate against the chaos of the moment, against the rush of heat and color exploding above them. Jimin's breath was warm on his neck, carrying the faint scent of jasmine and peppermint, a memory from months ago when they had laughed until their sides hurt. And suddenly, Jungkook realized that this, the waiting, the uncertainty, the risk, was exactly what had made him fall harder. A spark landed too close to the railing, and both of them flinched, instinctively drawing closer. Jimin's laughter, nervous but soft, cut through the tension, and Jungkook found himself smiling despite the adrenaline. "You scared?" he teased, though his voice was low, intimate. "Maybe a little," Jimin admitted, letting the confession slip between them like a fragile thread. "But I'm more scared of losing you." Jungkook froze, the words like ice melting in his chest. He turned his face just enough to meet Jimin's eyes, searching for truth in the flickering reflection of fireworks. And there it was, the honesty, the vulnerability, the kind of quiet bravery that made Jungkook feel like he'd been holding his breath his entire life. He leaned in slightly, resting his forehead against Jimin's temple, a whisper of connection amidst the chaos. The countdown began, 4, 3, 2, 1, and everything seemed to pause. Jimin's smile was tentative at first, then broader, brighter, a light that seemed to pierce every shadow that had lingered between them. He tucked himself closer, fully resting his head against Jungkook's shoulder, letting the city's noise and the world's expectations dissolve. For a single moment, the past year's pain, mistakes, and missed opportunities melted away, leaving only this, raw, unguarded, impossibly beautiful. When the fireworks exploded above, bathing the rooftop in cascading colors, Jungkook felt the heat of the flames mirrored by the warmth of Jimin pressed against him. He could hear fans screaming somewhere below, their joy echoing through the streets. But up here, the world had narrowed to a single heartbeat, a single breath, a single smile. "Happy New Year," Jimin murmured, almost inaudibly, yet Jungkook heard every syllable. "Happy New Year," he echoed, letting the words settle between them like a promise. And in that fleeting moment, before the fireworks faded, before the city reclaimed its noise, they found something eternal, something unspoken yet undeniable. The last seconds of the year had never felt so alive, so fragile, so infinite. The rooftop was quiet now, the fireworks having faded into distant sparks in the night sky, but the tension between them had not dissipated. Jungkook could feel Jimin's weight against his shoulder, heavier than before, not just from closeness, but from the unspoken emotions simmering beneath the surface. He turned slightly, brushing his fingers against Jimin's hair, the movement casual but charged, as if they were both afraid that acknowledging it too directly would break some fragile barrier. "You didn't answer me earlier," Jimin said suddenly, voice low, almost a growl. "About us, about what this is." His words trembled, though his gaze was unyielding, piercing straight through Jungkook as if demanding truth. Jungkook inhaled sharply, tasting the cold air and something sweeter, something dangerous. I don't know how to answer that, he admitted, voice rough, almost breaking. Every time I try, He stopped, frustrated, because words weren't enough. I've never been this afraid of losing someone before. Jimin laughed bitterly, a short, sharp sound that made Jungkook flinch. Afraid? You, Kookie, you've always been the brave one. The one who charges in without thinking, who doesn't hesitate to fight for what you want. And now you're scared. He leaned forward slightly, eyes narrowing, and Jungkook felt that heat. The tension that had been building for months, a mix of desire, fear, and frustration, wrap around them like a storm. I'm scared because this is too real, Jungkook confessed, voice dropping. Because if I mess up, if I say the wrong thing, I could lose you forever. And I can't lose you. Not now, not ever. Jimin blinked, and for a moment the fire in his eyes softened into something raw, vulnerable. He reached up, tracing a line along Jungkook's jaw with trembling fingers. You're such an idiot sometimes, he whispered, voice thick with emotion. Do you have any idea how much I've wanted you to just say it? Just say it and stop hiding behind fear. Jungkook swallowed hard, his chest tightening. The city below seemed distant now, irrelevant, meaningless compared to the storm brewing between them. He leaned closer, their foreheads touching, breath mingling, each inhale a confession, each exhale a surrender. I choose you, he said finally, the words raw and unpolished but undeniable. Always, no matter what. Jimin's lips parted, eyes wide, and for a long second, neither of them moved, suspended in the intensity of the moment. Then Jimin's hands gripped Jungkook's shirt, pulling him closer with a force that made Jungkook's heart leap. You have no idea how long I've waited to hear that, he murmured, voice trembling. The tension broke in a rush of motion, hands tangled. Breaths mingled, lips brushing in a tentative, electrifying kiss that set the air around them crackling. Jungkook's hands roamed instinctively, memorizing the curve of Jimin's back, the heat of his skin under the winter coat. Jimin gasped softly, a sharp, hot sound that sent shivers down Jungkook's spine, and for a moment, the world narrowed to the fire in their eyes and the racing of their hearts. Then came the knock on the rooftop door, sharp, unexpected, breaking the spell like a splash of cold water. Both of them froze, bodies still pressed together, hearts hammering. Who? Jungkook whispered, barely moving his lips. I don't know, Jimin replied, eyes darting toward the sound, suddenly aware of how exposed they were. Panic mixed with adrenaline, creating a cocktail of fear and desire that made every nerve-ending scream. Should we hide? Jungkook shook his head slowly, trying to keep his composure, though the heat in his chest made it impossible. No, we face it, together. His hands gripped Jimin's shoulders, grounding them both, as the door creaked open and a shadow fell across the floor. A familiar voice called out, teasing, suspicious, full of that knowing humor that made Jimin's stomach twist. Well, looks like someone, enjoying the view more than the fireworks. Jimin froze, eyes widening, and Jungkook's jaw tightened. Taehyung, Jimin breathed, a mixture of dread and embarrassment, while Jungkook's mind raced, every instinct screaming at him to protect, to shield, to own this moment no matter what. The intruder stepped closer, unaware of the storm between them, smiling mischievously. I didn't think you two would actually. He stopped mid-sentence, eyes flicking between them, catching the tension, the closeness, the electricity. The realization hit, and suddenly the air was thick with danger, not from outside threats, but from exposure, from the sudden awareness that their secret, fragile world could crumble in a second. Jimin pulled back slightly, cheeks flushed, and Jungkook's protective instincts flared. It's nothing, he said, voice low but firm, masking the fire that still burned between them. Just leave it. But the shadow smirked knowingly, stepping closer, hands tucked into pockets, gaze sharp. Right, nothing, sure. A pause, then a teasing lilt. Well, Happy New Year, you two, don't get too comfortable. And with that, the door shut, leaving them alone again, but not the same. The tension didn't fade. If anything, it grew, knotting in their chests, coiling around every heartbeat. Jungkook pulled Jimin close again, pressing a lingering kiss to the top of his head. We're fine, he whispered, though his own stomach was twisting in anxiety and excitement. "We're fine." Jimin rested his forehead against Jungkook's shoulder, letting out a shaky breath. "For now," he murmured, and Jungkook knew, without a doubt, that "for now" was just the beginning. The moment the rooftop door clicked shut behind the shadow, Jungkook and Jimin remained frozen, their breaths heavy, bodies still pressed together. The adrenaline had not faded. It had only morphed into something sharper, something more insistent, a mixture of fear, desire, and the thrill of being caught. Jungkook's hands tightened slightly on Jimin's waist, grounding him in the present, yet every nerve screamed that the night was far from over. Jimin finally pulled back just enough to look up, eyes wide, cheeks flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and exhilaration. "Why does it always have to be someone else catching us?" he muttered, voice low, though there was a trace of humor hiding under the tension. Jungkook chuckled dryly, but it was more like a warning than amusement. "Because we're reckless," he said, his voice husky, "and apparently irresistible." His eyes flicked over Jimin's face, drinking in the curve of his lips, the glint of mischief in his eyes, and he felt the familiar heat rising again, deep in his chest. "Do you even realize how much I've wanted you all year?" Jimin's breath hitched at the intensity of Jungkook's gaze. "Cookie," he whispered, voice trembling, both from desire and a flicker of fear. "We can't. Someone could see. Someone will *see." He pressed a hand to Jungkook's chest, feeling the rapid thrum of his heartbeat. "We shouldn't." But Jungkook interrupted with a low laugh, a sound that sent shivers down Jimin's spine. "We should," he repeated, leaning closer so their foreheads touched. "We shouldn't, yet here we are. Right, so what does that tell you?" His hands cupped Jimin's face, thumbs brushing against his cheeks, and the heat in his gaze made Jimin's resolve waver. I don't know," Jimin admitted, voice barely audible. "I just know I want you, but it's dangerous, maybe reckless." "Dangerous is the fun part," Jungkook murmured, lips brushing against Jimin's temple, down to the curve of his jaw. "And reckless, well, that's just us. Always has been." His words were a mixture of challenge and promise, daring Jimin to resist while offering the warmth of certainty that he was here, that he wasn't going anywhere. Jimin gasped softly as Jungkook's hands slid down to his waist again, pulling him flush against him. "Cookie!" The sound was half warning, half surrender, a note of desperation tangled with desire. "You're insane." Jungkook grinned, dangerous and magnetic. "Maybe, but I'm your kind of insane, aren't I?" He leaned in, capturing Jimin's lips in a kiss that was urgent, demanding yet tender in the way only years of suppressed emotion could make it. Jimin responded instinctively, hands threading through Jungkook's hair, pulling him closer, losing himself in the storm of sensation and emotion. The kiss deepened, and with it, the world seemed to collapse around them. Fireworks echoed faintly from the city below, the scent of smoke and winter air blending with the heat of their shared proximity. Every touch, every gasp, every tremor of Jimin's body under Jungkook's hands drove the tension higher, making restraint impossible. But then a phone rang sharply, slicing through the air like a knife. Jimin froze, heart hammering, realizing it was his personal line. "Shit," he whispered, fumbling to pull it from his pocket. Jungkook tensed beside him, knowing the interruption could change everything. "Jimin, it's someone important," he murmured, trying to mask the panic in his voice. Jimin's fingers trembled as he answered, keeping his voice steady, professional even, though his body still pressed against Jungkook. "Hello," his tone was calm, but Jungkook felt the tension radiating through him. A pause, then sharp words followed, and Jimin's eyes widened, a flicker of panic crossing his face. "What? How? No, that's impossible." His voice rose slightly, laced with disbelief and anger. "I can't, we need to." Jungkook moved instinctively, cupping Jimin's face, his touch grounding him. "Breathe," he said firmly, lips hovering just above Jimin's ear. "Whatever this is, we deal with it together. Always." The intimacy of his words made Jimin shiver, but it didn't erase the storm brewing on the other end of the line. Finally, Jimin ended the call, slamming the phone onto the railing with a frustrated hiss. His shoulders shook slightly, a mixture of rage and disbelief, and Jungkook wrapped an arm around him, pulling him close. "It's complicated," Jimin whispered, leaning into Jungkook's chest, voice tinged with vulnerability. Someone knows. Someone might expose everything. Jungkook's jaw tightened. Let them try, he growled, possessive, protective, his body pressed against Jimin as though he could shield him from the entire world. No one's touching you. Not now, not ever. Jimin's breath hitched again, but this time it was a mixture of relief and fear. You really mean that? He asked, voice trembling, eyes searching Jungkook's face for any hint of doubt. I mean it, Jungkook said, firm, unwavering. Always, no matter what comes, we face it together. He leaned down, capturing Jimin's lips in a searing kiss, one that left no room for hesitation or denial, only the raw, unstoppable force of everything they had been holding back. Jimin melted into him, letting go of the last remnants of caution, surrendering to the chaotic, messy, intoxicating connection they had both craved for so long. The world below, the dangers, the potential for exposure, all of it faded into irrelevance. Right now, in this electric, tense moment, there was only them. Fire and ice, storm and calm, chaos and desire interwoven into a single, unstoppable force. And as the night stretched on, they held each other tight, hearts pounding, breath mingling, knowing that the real challenge, the one that would test them, expose secrets, ignite controversies, was still waiting. But for this moment at least, nothing else mattered. Not the city, not the intrusions, not the threat of exposure. Just the undeniable, scorching truth of them. The streets below were a blur of neon and headlights, but up here, on the secluded rooftop, the world had narrowed to a single pulse. Jimin's rapid heartbeat pressed against Jungkook's chest. The air was cold, sharp against their skin, but the tension between them burned hotter than any firework they'd seen that night. Jimin stepped back slightly, running a hand through his hair, eyes darting to the edge of the rooftop. We can't stay here forever, Kookie, he murmured, voice tense, a mixture of desire and apprehension. Someone could see, someone will see eventually. Jungkook smirked, leaning closer until their foreheads touched. Then let them, he said, voice low, dangerous, magnetic. I don't care who sees. It's you and me, Jimin, always has been, and right now no one else exists. Jimin's lips parted, a shiver running down his spine. You make it sound so simple, but it's not, he whispered, voice cracking slightly. There's complications. People who could ruin us if they found out. People who would use this, us against me. Jungkook's eyes darkened, a fierce protectiveness flaring. Then let them try, he growled. I don't care. No one's touching you, no one's taking you away. Not tonight, not ever. His hands gripped Jimin's waist with a possessive strength that made Jimin gasp, heat spreading through him in spite of the icy night air. You don't understand, Jimin pressed, desperation threading through his words. It's not just about us. It's about everything the agency, the fans, the rumors. If anyone even suspects, he trailed off, voice heavy with unspoken fears. I do understand, Jungkook countered, voice a dangerous growl. I understand more than you think, and I don't care about anything else right now. You're mine, Jimin, and I'm not letting anyone take you from me. He leaned down then, pressing his lips to Jimin's in a kiss that was both urgent and possessive, demanding attention, claiming him with a fervor that left no room for hesitation. Jimin responded instantly, hands clutching at Jungkook's shoulders, pulling him closer, the heat between them building so fast it was almost painful. Kookie, don't! He gasped between kisses, but his body betrayed him, leaning into Jungkook, craving more, needing more, caught in the maelstrom of desire and fear. Jungkook's hands roamed freely now, memorizing every contour, every curve, every shiver under his fingertips. Don't fight it, he whispered against Jimin's lips, teeth brushing briefly in a playful, heated teasing that made Jimin's knees weak. I've wanted this, wanted you for too long to hold back now. Jimin gasped, lips parting, a whimper escaping as Jungkook's hands moved lower, pressing him closer. The tension wasn't just physical, it was emotional, raw, untamed, fueled by months of restraint, stolen glances, letters never sent, confessions never made. Kookie, if anyone finds out. Jimin's words were lost in the heat of the moment, but Jungkook's reply was a low, possessive growl that made Jimin shiver. Then they'll regret it. I'll make them regret ever thinking they could touch you, ever. You're mine, Jimin. The sound of footsteps echoed faintly from the stairwell below, but neither of them moved away. Instead, it only heightened the intensity, the thrill of danger mingling with desire. "Someone's coming," Jimin whispered, voice shaky but tinged with heat. "Let them," Jungkook murmured, pressing his forehead to Jimin's. "They'll see exactly what they're messing with. They'll see why I can't let go, why I'll fight for you no matter what." Jimin's lips trembled into a smile, equal parts exasperation and adoration. "You're impossible," he breathed, yet the way he clutched at Jungkook made it clear he wasn't resisting. Not really. "I'm your kind of impossible," Jungkook replied, voice dark, deep, magnetic. And then he captured Jimin's lips again, teeth grazing the soft flesh, pulling him into a kiss that was hungry, demanding, intoxicating. Every nerve screamed, every gasp echoed in the cold night, every heartbeat was a thunderclap. And in that electric tension, that perfect storm of desire, danger, and unspoken emotion, they existed only for each other. The rest of the world, the agency, the rumors, the threats, they could deal with later. Right now, there was only this: heat, closeness, danger, and the unrelenting, impossible pull of love that refused to be denied. Jimin's hands tangled in Jungkook's hair as he gasped, pressed flush against him. "Cookie, you're insane," he whispered, shivering. "I know," Jungkook murmured back, voice low and husky, "and you love it." Jimin's gasp was lost in the wind, lost in the rush of emotion, desire, and danger that surrounded them, but he didn't pull away. Not now. Not ever. And Jungkook knew without a doubt that no matter what storms awaited them, no matter how many eyes watched, how many hands tried to pull them apart, they were unstoppable together. The city lights shimmered below, indifferent to the storm brewing on the rooftop above. Jimin's fingers trembled slightly as he traced patterns on Jungkook's chest, but it wasn't cold. It was fear, mingled with desire, excitement, and a weight he couldn't quite name. "Cookie, something's wrong," he whispered, voice trembling. His eyes darted toward the stairwell door, though he wasn't sure if it was the intruder from earlier returning or something far worse. Jungkook's grip on Jimin's waist tightened, possessive and protective. "What is it?" he demanded, voice low, dangerous, eyes scanning the shadows for movement. "Who's there?" Jimin shook his head, biting his lip. It's not just someone. It's everything. The agency, the fans, the rumors, someone's digging, kooky. Someone's trying to expose us, all of us. Jungkook's jaw clenched. "Expose us?" The word hit him like ice. Who would even dare? His voice dropped to a growl, full of fire and protective fury. "I don't care, whoever it is, let them come. They'll regret it. You're mine, Jimin, and no one's taking you away." Jimin leaned into him, forehead against Jungkook's chest, the warmth of his body the only anchor in a suddenly threatening world. I'm scared," he admitted, voice barely audible. "I've never been this scared, and yet—" He hesitated, lifting his gaze, eyes glittering in the rooftop light. "I've never wanted someone this much either." Jungkook's lips curved into a dangerous, heated smile. "Then you feel it too," he murmured, brushing a stray lock of hair from Jimin's forehead. "You feel what I feel, that desperate, insane pull that makes the world irrelevant the second we're together." He pressed a sudden, demanding kiss to Jimin's lips, rougher, hungrier this time, tongues teasing, teeth grazing, the cold air doing nothing to dampen the fire igniting between them. Jimin gasped, hands clutching Jungkook's shirt, pressing him closer, craving the intensity that both terrified and thrilled him. "Cookie, someone could see." He tried to resist, but every word was drowned by the storm of their passion, the closeness, the heat of Jungkook's hands, the tension that had been building for months, now breaking in waves too strong to deny. "Let them see," Jungkook whispered, voice husky and low, teeth brushing Jimin's jaw in a dangerous tease. "I want them to see exactly how much I want you, how much you mean to me. I don't care about the consequences. Right now, it's only us." A sudden ping from Jimin's phone made them both jump. Jimin glanced down, lips pressing together, panic flashing in his eyes. It's a message," he murmured. "From someone at the agency. They know about us." Jungkook's eyes darkened, fury rising like a tidal wave. "They what?" he growled. "Who? I'll—" He stopped, realizing the danger of losing his temper in such a precarious situation. But his hands didn't stop moving, tracing along Jimin's sides, holding him close, grounding him, as if the fire in their connection could shield them from everything else. "They're threatening to leak it," Jimin admitted, voice shaking, tears threatening to spill. "If it gets out, it could ruin everything. My career, your career, us." He buried his face into Jungkook's chest, trembling. "Kookie, what do we do?" Jungkook kissed the top of his head, fierce and possessive. "We do what we've always done," he said, voice low, determined. "We fight together, we don't let them win, and we make sure no one ever touches you." The tension didn't abate. Instead, it twisted tighter, coiling around their hearts, minds, and bodies. Jimin lifted his face, meeting Jungkook's gaze with a mixture of fear, love, and desperation. "Kookie, I'm scared, but I can't stop wanting you." "You won't have to stop," Jungkook replied, capturing his lips again in a kiss that was searing, urgent, and utterly consuming. "Not now, not ever. I'll make sure of it." They pressed closer, bodies moving as if the world outside the rooftop had ceased to exist. Every touch, every brush of lips, every whispered word carried a dangerous intensity, a mix of love and defiance, desire and rebellion. The danger from the outside world only heightened the storm between them, each secret kiss a declaration, each sigh a battle cry, each trembling shiver a promise. Minutes, or was it hours, passed like seconds. Their hearts raced, breaths mingled, and in the midst of chaos, fear, and scandal, they found clarity. No one else mattered. Not the agency, not the rumors, not the world's judgment, only each other. Jimin pressed his forehead to Jungkook's chest heaving, hands clutching the fabric of his jacket. "Promise me, Kookie, whatever happens, we stay like this, together, no matter what they try to do." "I promise," Jungkook whispered, lips brushing his temple, hands locking around him possessively. "Always, nothing and no one can touch us. We're unstoppable together." And for that moment, amidst fear, scandal, and an unpredictable world, their connection, raw, urgent, passionate, was the only truth that mattered. The rest could wait. The rest could burn. They had each other, and that was enough to ignite the night into something unforgettable. The night air was thick with tension, cold against their skin but electric between them. Jungkook and Jimin leaned against the rooftop railing, breaths ragged, hearts still racing from the whirlwind of desire and danger that had consumed them for hours. The city below glittered like a field of distant stars, oblivious to the chaos simmering above. Jimin's fingers traced idle patterns along Jungkook's chest, though his mind was elsewhere, flicking through the events of the past hour like a rapid montage. "Kookie, they know," he murmured, voice low, trembling. "The agency, someone is trying to expose us, and it's not just a threat, I think they might actually do it." Jungkook's jaw tightened, eyes darkening with a mixture of protectiveness and fury. "Do what?" he growled, voice low but sharp. "Tell me exactly who's trying to ruin us so I can." "No," Jimin snapped suddenly, pressing a hand to Jungkook's chest, stopping him. His eyes burned, equal parts fear and frustration. "We can't react impulsively. Not now. If we make a mistake, they'll have everything they need. We have to be careful, but I can't stop thinking about you, about us." His voice softened, almost a whisper, but the intensity behind it made Jungkook shiver. Jungkook's fingers curled around Jimin's hand, bringing it to his lips. "You don't have to think about anything else, just me. Only me," he murmured, his lips brushing against Jimin's knuckles, lingering possessive. "I'll handle the rest. You don't have to worry about anyone or anything else. Just stay with me, right here, right now." Jimin swallowed, heat rising in his cheeks, heart hammering against his ribs. "Kookie, you make it sound so easy," he whispered, voice catching. "But it's not. There's too much at stake. One wrong move, one wrong word, and it could all be over. Everything we've built, everything we've risked." He trailed off, lost in the intensity of the moment, the closeness, the electricity that radiated between them. "Then let's risk it," Jungkook said, his voice low, husky, magnetic. He leaned in, pressing his forehead against Jimin's, eyes locking with his. "Because it's worth it. Every risk, every danger, every consequence. I don't care about the world. I only care about you, only us." Jimin's lips trembled into a small, vulnerable smile, but it was enough to ignite Jungkook completely. He pulled Jimin closer, hands roaming with purpose, claiming, exploring, desperate to imprint every curve, every shiver into memory. Jimin gasped, lips parting, fingers tangling in Jungkook's hair as heat and tension collided, making restraint impossible. "Kookie, we should," Jimin gasped, voice trembling between warning and surrender. "Someone could come, someone will *C. "Let them," Jungkook whispered, teeth grazing Jimin's jaw, lips brushing his temple, possessive and hungry. "Let them see. Let the world know what they're dealing with. I don't care about anyone else. You're mine, and I'm not letting go." The moment broke, not with a knock or interruption, but with a sudden flood of messages on Jimin's phone, the screen lighting up like a beacon in the dark. Jimin's hands shook as he checked them, and his eyes widened, the color draining from his face. "Kookie, it's worse than I thought," he murmured, voice trembling, eyes darting across the messages. "They're not just threatening, they have proof. Pictures, texts, everything. If this gets out, it's over. For both of us. Completely." Jungkook's hands tightened around Jimin's waist, pulling him flush against his chest, breathing hard, mind racing. "Then we fight," he said, voice low, fierce, protective. "We don't run, we don't hide, we fight, together. No one touches you. No one ruins this, not ever." Jimin's lips trembled as he pressed his face into Jungkook's shoulder, letting the warmth and strength of his body anchor him. I want to believe that," he whispered, voice shaky. "But I've never been this exposed, this vulnerable. And it terrifies me, and yet I can't stop wanting you, needing you, even with everything at risk." Jungkook's fingers tangled in Jimin's hair, holding him close, brushing his lips against the crown of his head, down his jaw, over his temple. "Then stop thinking about the risk," he murmured, voice husky, low, commanding. "Stop thinking about anything but us. You and me, always. Let me protect you, let me take it all on. You don't have to carry this alone." Jimin let out a shaky laugh, a mixture of fear, relief, and longing, pressing closer. "You're impossible," he whispered. "And you love it," Jungkook countered, voice a dangerous growl, lips capturing Jimin's in a searing, urgent kiss that left no room for hesitation or doubt. Heat and desire consumed them, the fear of exposure and scandal only fueling their fire, their need, their defiance. Minutes, or maybe hours, passed in a blur of passion and whispered promises, stolen touches, and fervent declarations. Every sigh, every gasp, every trembling shiver was a statement. No one, nothing, could break what they had, not now, not ever. Finally, as the wind swept across the rooftop and the city hummed far below, Jimin rested against Jungkook's chest, body trembling from desire, fear, and emotion. "Promise me," he whispered, voice raw, vulnerable, "that whatever happens, we stay like this, together, no matter what they try." "I promise," Jungkook said, voice low, unwavering, possessive. "Always, nothing, no one can take you from me. We're unstoppable, together." And in that tense, fiery, emotional moment, amidst the shadows of danger and scandal, the storm of the outside world, they clung to each other, passion, fear, love, and defiance entwined, knowing that no matter what came next, they had each other, and that was enough to defy anything. The rooftop was silent now, save for the distant hum of the city and the occasional faint echo of fireworks long faded. Jungkook held Jimin close, his arms wrapped possessively around him, fingers tracing the familiar contours of his back as if memorizing every curve, every tremor. The chaos of the past hours, the threats, the exposure, the fear, had not vanished entirely, but in this moment none of it mattered. All that existed was the raw, unfiltered connection between them. Jimin lifted his face, eyes glistening with a mixture of exhaustion, relief, and the lingering thrill of danger. "Kookie, we made it," he whispered, voice trembling. "I can't believe it. After everything, we're still here, together." Jungkook pressed a gentle kiss to the top of Jimin's head, then down to his temple, lips lingering as if sealing a promise. "We're not just here," he murmured, voice low, husky with emotion. "We're unbreakable. Nothing and no one can touch what we have. Not the agency, not the rumors, not the world." His hands tightened slightly around Jimin, possessive but tender. "I've waited for this for us for so long, and I'm not letting go." Jimin's lips curved into a small, vulnerable smile, hands clutching Jungkook's jacket as if afraid he might vanish. "I was so scared," he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. "Scared of losing you, scared of what could happen if the world found out. But now," he pressed closer, forehead resting against Jungkook's chest, heart racing. "I'm not scared anymore, not when I have you." "You don't ever have to be," Jungkook said firmly, brushing a hand along Jimin's cheek, thumb tracing the line of his jaw. "I'll protect you. I'll fight for you. I'll choose you every single day, always." The words settled between them like a heartbeat, steady, unyielding. And then, as if on cue, the first fireworks of the new year erupted in the distance, painting the sky with cascading light, the sound rumbling faintly against the night. Jimin tilted his head up, eyes wide, reflecting the colors above, and let out a breathless laugh that Jungkook caught in a kiss, soft and intimate. "You're insane," Jimin murmured between kisses, cheeks flushed with both heat and laughter. "I know," Jungkook replied, lips brushing along his temple, teeth grazing his jaw in a teasing, possessive way. "And you love it." Jimin gasped softly, pressing into him, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, the world outside, the agency, the rumors, the threats, didn't exist. Only them. Only the warmth of bodies pressed together, hearts racing in tandem, breaths mingling, the electric charge of passion and love that refused to be contained. "Happy New Year," Jimin whispered finally, a soft, tender smile lighting his face. "Happy New Year," Jungkook echoed, voice low and full of promise, pulling him even closer. "To us, always us." And in that moment, amidst the fatting echoes of fireworks and the glittering city below, they held each other tight, knowing that no matter what challenges, scandals, or dangers awaited them in the future, they had survived the storm, and they had chosen each other. The last seconds of the old year had passed, and the new one stretched before them, full of possibilities, unspoken promises, and the unshakable certainty of their love. As the city breathed below and the night sky shimmered with color, Jimin rested his head fully on Jungkook's shoulder, a soft sigh escaping his lips. Jungkook tightened his hold, brushing a thumb along the nape of his neck. Together, they watched the dawn approach, hearts entwined, defiant, unstoppable, and infinitely alive. In the end, nothing else mattered. Not the world, not the chaos, not the threats. Only this, only them, burning brighter than any firework, unstoppable in their love, unbroken and eternal.